So Face Off Weekend is going to be starting in about an hour my time, so I thought let's get ready and see what we're going to get. 4. Okay, let's go check out what our prompt's going to be. Okay, so this is a bit of a dodgy setup, but here it is. I've just got to open a Canva, got my little crystal ball, bit of doucheness. Ignore the banner telling me I need to sort out my payment. Right, I got 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. An animal on the cover. 2. Book you own, that could be a good one. 1, 2. Recommended to you by friend. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that could just be... Okay, I think I'm gonna go with 1, 2, 3, 4. A book you own as my first one. Let's go check out the horror novella shelf and again. Okay, so I've got some horror novellas here, which I would like to try and get a few of them read if possible this weekend. There's not many. So from these ones I've read that, I've not read that, I've read that, oh, there's not actually as many as I thought here that I haven't read. I've got Psychic.
I've no idea.
Let me get out the ones that are options. Okay, so ignore my partner who's playing games and being very loud over there. The ones I've got this one, Mer by Polly Hall. I don't really know what it's about. It's actually a bingo square book for the horror bingo, which is going to a book you don't know anything about. It was just a cover pick. I've got Psychic Teenage Bloodbath by Carl John Lee, which is also David Sodergren's pen name. I did slot this in for Summerween, but obviously that's a potential. The Woods All Black by Lee Mandello. I did start this. Look at...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my bookmark apparently. I got 50...
Yeah, we're just sitting ducks.
Got 30 pages into it, so I got about a third of the way through, so that's a very good option. Or A Christmas Ghost Story by Kim Newman. So they're my current options for one I own. I might go for this one because it did intrigue me. I will start at the beginning because I don't know what was going on off the top of my head. Yeah, so that's going to be my first book this weekend once it hits 5 o'clock my time. Go on, flip. There we go. And what does it land on?
Tails.
Is that tails? Yeah. You want to record them?
Yeah.
See, all of these ones that have the little cover, that means there's someone in that little room, the ones with the cover.
I see.
You can see them. Yeah. Right, so that is finished. The Woods All Black. That was really good. That was really good. Last night I finished Guillotine. I did that as a audio, so I did another roll. I'll put the screenshots up here or whatever. So I had an audiobook whilst I was doing the washing up and making dinner, so I listened to Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. I loved it. So two winners so far. This was so much. It wasn't what I expected, and I loved everything about it. It's only the second book I've read by this author, and I've given both books very high ratings. So I think that's my sign that I need to pick up more by Lee Mendello. The other one I read was Feed Them Silence. I want to get a copy of that, a physical copy, because I really enjoyed that as well. I did do a roll before bed for a ebook, in case when I got to bed I wanted to read an ebook instead of physical, and for that I landed on a book I'm excited about, I think it was. So I decided I was going to read the last or most recent one in the A Deal with a Demon series by Katie Roberts. That's The Demon's Queen. I love this series. I love it. That's on my Kindle, my KU library, so that's good. So I'm going to be in and out of that one. But let's see if I'm going to read. Let's see what I'm going to pick up next for my physical books. I have picked out some. I'll show you in a moment. But let's get my roll going first. Right, ready? It's so hard to do this in the camera. There we go. Oh, a 2. Seem to just be getting 2s and 4s. Right, so a 2. So for where I am, I'm currently on a book you're excited about. So I don't think, as far as I'm aware, I don't think there's any like set you have to go clockwise or anti-clockwise. So I can either go a book picked purely on vibes, or go to a portal and roll again. Let me show you the books that I've kind of picked out as potentials. So I've just put them, just a little stack on my desk here. So there's the free novellas I showed you yesterday. I forgot that I had this one. This is a short story collection. And then I've got this one, which I do want to read ASAP. I Who Have Never Known Men. I got this recently, The Wasp Factory. It sounds interesting. Confessions I've been wanting to read for a while. 6 stories I've been wanting to read for a while. This is the next in the Mead Mishap series of Where I Am. So I thought, in theory, these are feasible for a 48-hour readathon. So if I'm going to do a book picked purely on vibes, I'm kind of leaning towards this one or this one, I think. Okay, so we're going to do a check-in. There's loads of noise in the background. There's always loads of noise in the background in my house. I don't have a choice. So, what? I don't think I spoke to you since this morning. Went to library. Both my kids went to library. I was going to like have a little aesthetic look around. But my kids were running everywhere in opposite directions. They both got a book. I did not get a chance to look for books. Probably for the best though, because I do need to. I have like picked out this stack of books that I want to try out. Not been able to do any of my Eric LaRocca because I wanted to do it as a audio. My son's had my headphones all day. He's listening to his audiobooks and he's refusing to give me my headphones back. But in between doing like regular schmegular life, housework, mumming, I've been reading A Flesh and Blood. So I've read like this much. I really wanted to get this done this weekend so I can finish leg 5. So I've got 80 or so pages left. But when I go to bed, I'm going to be reading my Katie book, so I'm going to take my tablet and read that. It's about 2 hours, so I'm hoping I might finish that tonight. So I've just been sitting here catching up on some YouTube videos, reading of Flesh and Blood. So I'm gonna get, like, it's nearly 9:30. I'm gonna get a cup of tea sorted, take the little one to bed, and then read my tablet in bed. Just gonna finish this chapter. And yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow in the UK at least is Father's Day. I don't know if it's different in other countries. I know Mother's Day is a different date for us. I'd really like to try and get at least one more book read from this pile. If I could find an excuse to fit this one and this one in tomorrow, that would be amazing. So I think my plan is I'm going to read my ebook tonight, and then tomorrow morning I'll do a roll and pick up one of my physical books, and then just during the day make my way through Eric LaRocca. I think it's a 5-hour audio book. Where's my mouse? 6-hour audio book. So I'll do it in like 3 hours. And I guess this finishes, for my time it started at 5 p.m. on Friday, so we'll be finishing at 5 p.m. tomorrow. God, that TV's loud. So we shall see how we go, but that is my current plan. Ideal would be to finish leg 5 this weekend, so I'm actually submitting a leg book during the leg, and ideally I would get through 3 more books for Face Off. What did I do so far? I did Guillotine and I did The Woods All Black, so at least I've done 2. I can be proud of myself for that. I have a load of books that I've read that were not leg books, so I really want to get a book submitted for a leg during the current leg so that I can submit them as sightseeing prompts, because they're just kind of sitting there. I think I've got like 4 books that I want to submit that are sightseeing books, but I've not had the opportunity to submit them. But yeah, anyway, we'll see how it goes. So I got to, I think it was around 70% or something of the Demon's Queen last night. I just finished up this morning when I was drinking my coffee. I really enjoyed it. I think it's the end of the series, and it just really, it brought it to a really satisfying conclusion. And yeah, Kate Robert she did it. It's so if you don't know, the deal with a demon series, sorry, this is the worst possible position, but I've got a little one here that wants me to sit next to her. A deal with a demon series is, I think is it 6 of them, and we follow humans who have made a deal to spend 7 years in the demon realm. They got something out of it, and 7 years in the demon realm is something like a year in the human realm or something like that. And they marry the leader from each of the demon realms. So there's like an auction at the beginning where the leaders pick one of the women they want to marry, and the hope is that the women, the wives, the brides, will over that 7 years agree to have a child, which will be half human, half whichever demon creature they're married to and then leave their child in the demon realm, they'll be very well compensated. And this is because magic is seeping. They're like losing magic in the demon realm, and human hybrids, or like demon human hybrid children, contain a lot of magic. So if you have more children that are half human, there's more magic in the realm, something along those lines. So each book follows like a different couple, and this was the final one. It followed Azazel, who is the demon, the bargainer demon, who is in charge of this and set all of this up. And yeah, I just thought it was a really good end, like conclusion to the story. I really want to try one of Katie Roberts' other series. I tried Neon Gods and I really didn't get along with it. But I have read more kind of dark romance, or what I think is dark romance now, so possibly I could get along with it a bit better. But also I tried it on audio, and Becca from Becca and the Book said that the audio was not great, and the like reading it physically or like digitally was a better experience. So possibly I would give it a retry, not as an audio, because that might be what was stopping me from enjoying it. But yeah, so that's the third book finished for Face Off. So once this little miss has finished her milk, I will go and log that and roll for my next book. And my audiobook for the day is obviously going to be Eric LaRocca, This Skin Was Once Mine and Other Disturbances, or something along those lines. So hopefully I will get that done as well. Okay, so we're finally, I've got a spot, ignore this, it's just, it's what it is. Let's roll for our next book. I'm really hoping I can get one of the books that I side on my desk. Again, ignore the mess of my desk, it needs organising at some point. My desk is basically like the dumping ground for all the kids stuff for some reason. Oh, and we're also being serenaded, lovely. Right, let's do this. Thank you. You playing the xylophone for me? Thank you. I'll probably meet that. Two. All I get is twos. Right, let's have a look. A book picked purely on vibes. That's when I got the Eric LaRocca books. I'm actually here, so it'll be more than 4 words in a title. Can I go backwards? Like, can I go back? I just checked the rules and there's nothing about the direction you need to be moving. A book with more than 4 words in the title, because I was obviously I was hoping to either get to Remains or A Christmas Ghost Story, both of which have less than 4 words. Obviously we have these as well, but then that would probably be just one more book read today. So we've got That Time I Got Drunk, or I Who Have Never Known Men would be my 2 options, but I can't imagine I'll get either of them finished and another one. Okay, bear with me. Okay, I went and checked my comic shelf, and I picked up a few options. 3 options of books that have more than 4 words in the title that I have not read yet. I don't really show my comic shelf much, but so I have The Divided States of Hysteria. A bit controversial at this current political climate. The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys. Oh, this is the Gerard Way one. The Strange Talent of Luther Strode. I think that's going to be more of a violent one. They all follow a similar plot of America Falling. That's a bit scary. So we've got one that's about a guy joining a murder cult. Okay. We've got one that's about An America shattered by greed and racism, violence and fear, nihilism and tragedy. Everything's going to hell. Okay. We've got one about it foretells a not too distant future where fear reigns and freedom falls. Okay then. Wow. I guess I'll you know which one I pick. I'm going to do one of these though, and then hopefully I can still get to one of these books that I'd planned on reading. I mean, I know I did set out these books to read, but I'm not really in the mood for these bigger ones now. I really want to read some of those novellas. Look, I'm making up my own rules. Oh, she's on the comic book shelf. I need to go sort that. So that brings Face Off to a close. I did pretty well. I finished 3 physical books and 2 audiobooks and a digital book. So I've got this one, which wasn't a Face Off weekend book, but it was for leg free, so I've got that finished, which I'm very excited about because it's actually finished during the leg. So this one followed a doctor who gets kind of caught up in the mystery of what happened to his distant cousin. His cousin killed himself a few years prior, or like a few years prior, and was known as the Cajun cannibal. And so our main character Vincent decides to write a book on it, thinking because he's related to a cannibal he'll have like a good in to find out what happened. He ends up going on like this big investigative journey. I was really excited because it's about cannibals and it's set in Louisiana, which is one of my favourite locations to read about. I don't really know what I think about this book actually though. It was definitely more crime than horror. It reminded me of Night Film by Marisha Pessel, like a investigative journalist, kind of like getting so caught up in the like mystery of it all that they kind of lose sight of themselves. And Night Film I want to reread. This one I likely won't reread, so I don't know if that suggests how I feel about it. I don't know what I'm gonna do ratings wise, but it was quite enjoyable, kept me going. I did want to keep reading, which I guess is a good thing in a like fast-paced mystery book. You'll have to let me know if you know of any other books that are similar to this, because I think Night Film might actually be the only other book I've read that's like following an investigative journalist, which is perhaps why I'm making the comparison. So yeah, let me know. But then for the Face Off book, so my first roll gave me The Woods All Black by Lee Mandello. This is a novella I've been wanting to read for a while. I did start it last year, and I think I got to around page 35. It's only like 140 something pages anyway, but I just restarted it, and this was really enjoyable. In fact, I would have loved just maybe 40 or 50 more pages, because hang on, let me double check. I'm not going to do any I'm not going to go through any spoilers. So this is a historical horror set in 1920s Appalachia, and we follow Leslie Brun, who is a trans male who previously worked as a nurse in the war, and he is sent to this town in Appalachia to try and convince the town to have their vaccinations and to help with the birthing of children. And he has to go as a female, as a nurse, because obviously we're in the 1920s, and he's going to like a puritanical little back town, which I think was pretty standard for this kind of time frame when it's set, that it was very God's wrath, and the preacher very much kind of controls the town. And whilst there, Leslie gets kind of pulled into this dark, festering thing in the woods, and Leslie meets a fellow trans man, Stevie, who is in the town, and the church folk are determined to have Stevie off like a good wife, and they form a bit of a friendship. I was going to say an unlikely friendship, but it does make sense that they would gravitate towards one another. And yeah, there's the monster in the woods, and the part with the monster in the woods was like 3 chapters, and I really would have loved another 20 pages to explore that, because the gore, those chapters were really good, but the whole thing was so good, so atmospheric. I loved Leslie, I loved the choices he made, and I really liked the atmosphere that Lee Mandello built in such a small pocket. I need to pick up more by this author. I think I mentioned I've only read one by this author, which was Feed Them Silence, which I adored. I really want to get a physical copy of that. But yeah, I need to read more by him, because this was just absolutely fantastic. And I loved Leslie as a protagonist. Brilliant. I then read Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. After reading Bloom by this author at the beginning of the year, I've been excited to pick up more by this author, and I picked up this, and this was Eat the Rich, and I loved it. It gave me like what kind of vibes is it giving me? It gave me like Ready or Not vibes, you know, that film with I can't remember what her name is, but that film, it gave me those kind of vibes. It also reminded me slightly of, very loosely, do not go into this book thinking that they are comparative, but it was just something that popped into my head as I was listening to this book. That film that came out at the beginning of this year, last year, I watched it at the beginning of this year. I can't remember what it's called, the one with Channing Tatum, he's like a bad guy in it. I will put the poster here or whatever. But yeah, so this is definitely a feminist, femgore, eat the rich. I thought it was brilliant. Again, it was so beautifully gory, and it was everything I could possibly want. This author, it's another author that's definitely giving. I then read the final book in the Deal with the Bargainer series by Katie Robert, The Demon's Queen. I think I told you my thoughts on this already, but yeah, I really thought it brought the series to a close really well. I enjoyed it. All the characters were likable. We got like little nods to previous books, because obviously our main character in this was the bargainer that controlled it all, so we got to have, every time that he stepped in previous books, we got to see that in this, which was great. I finished Eric LaRocca, The Skin, That Skin Was Mine, The Skin Was Mine, and Other Disturbances. I don't know if it's his most recent one, actually. Short story collection. How do I feel about this? I'm consider myself quite a fan of Eric LaRocca. I do have a collection on my shelves. His newer books that I read, I do find they don't seem to quite hit as much or as well as Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke did. So I don't know if I'm just becoming quite kind of numb to his style of story. I don't know, but I think other Eric LaRocca fans need to let me know if this is comparable or if it's just me. I thought that the stories were a little... It was 4 short stories, and I felt like whilst the imagery was fabulous across the board, that is something that you cannot knock with Eric LaRocca, I do feel like the twists in some of the short stories were kind of guessable and not so twisty, which I think in a short story is something that shouldn't be happening. Like, they should be punchy and it should shock you. And the first short story in this, which was The Skin Was Mine, The Skin Was Once My Own, whatever it's called, really reminded me of the Sarah Gailey book, Just Like Home, just this one, which was interesting, but I have mixed feelings about that story, the Sarah Gailey one, which yeah, but yeah, I don't know how I'm going to rate it yet. All of these I'm not 100% sure on the rating, except The Woods All Black is definitely a 5-star. I know that much. And then I finally finished it off with reading this graphic novel by Gerard Way, and this is The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys. So I looked it up. There is, because there's only one volume, so I looked up to see what it was all about. And basically, My Chemical Romance, obviously Gerard Way is the lead singer for, and I think the predominant songwriter. They had an album called The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys, or Killjoys, something like that, and it was like a concept album, and this was a sequel to that album. And then I believe that there's another album which is a sequel to this, so it's all very interconnected. I might need to check out the album. I must admit, I'm not a big I haven't listened to much modern My Chemical Romance. It was definitely something I loved in my teenage life, and I tend to just re-listen to the albums that came out when I was a teenager and not really move on with musicians. But there we go. I decided to pick this one in the end because I did have 3 options, and I gave them all a flick, and this had some artwork that I was really interested in, like the art style, and I stand by that. That was really good. Do I fully understand what happened in this? No. Do I in any way understand how the apocalypse got to this position? No. Was it enjoyable? Yes it was. So, like, electricity is kind of controlled by this government entity, and it's all very strict on what people can and can't do, when they can be outside, when they can't be outside. We follow a few different characters. So we follow like a rebel group who are, so the Killjoys were a big rebel group who got killed prior to this book, presumably in the concept album. So we have a group of rebels who kind of style themselves on the Killjoys. We follow them and a young girl who was like looked after by the Killjoys. She was like 6 years old. Her parents were killed, and she actually used to be looked after by the Killjoys since she witnessed them die. And we follow a couple of are they called porn bots, sex worker robots, and we follow them, who are trying to escape the main city because they believe, the androids believe, that when they escape the city, the electricity is like cut off from them, they will go to like android heaven basically. They also believe there's like an android gods that will come and set them all free and like run rampage on a city. And then we follow one of the like enforcers for the team that run the city, and he's kind of questioning if he's doing the right thing. It was very Blade Runner-esque. It was giving me a lot of Blade Runner vibes. Also, what was that book I recently read by Augustina Bastorico? What was it called? Her most recent one with the like nun on the cover. That was set in a world after an apocalypse happened due to electricity. It's never fully explained. So it kind of gave me the vibes that the artwork is fabulous, absolutely fabulous. The colour scheme in this is amazing. How they approach the different colours for the different characters, and it's just really eye-popping. As well as the typography. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to typography in comics, and I thought that was really good in this as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I would actually say that this was probably, even though I have no clue what was going on, I would probably say this was a 5-star. So overall, I would say a really successful reading weekend, and I can't believe I'm actually up to date on her legs. I'm actually gonna go like submit this right now so that I can quickly submit some sightseeing books before the new prompt drops. But yeah, thank you for joining me this weekend. Did you take part in Face Off Weekend, or are you taking part in the amazing readathon? Let me know in the comments. If you want to say hi but don't have anything to say, leave me an eye for The Woods All Black, and I will see you soon for another video. Thank you, bye.